Welcome or welcome back to my channel. This is the other, well, I still have one more video that I owe, but this is the second video of the Degrassi love triangles. This is from season 8 to season 14, with the exception of like 2 love triangles that I forgot to include in the other video. And as you can see, they really bumped up with the love triangles because this is just the first 7 seasons and this is the last 7 seasons. Look at how many they are. I still plan to also do a video for the love triangles from the next class, which is on Netflix. But as always, be patient because, yeah. Now, starting with how we ended up the last video, which was Kelly, Manny, and Emma. And I truly did not remember this at all. Also, I forgot to mention, I tried to watch the first and second episode of Degrassi The Next Generation because while editing the last video, I realized I couldn't remember most of the events or basically anything that happened. And I was even misremembering some things. So that probably influenced a lot. And I wanted to see if watching the series helped jog a lot more memories, but I had not updated my graphics card and the video did not record properly. Sorry about that. But I will try to see if I can actually record some reaction to another episode of the series. My thoughts of the first and second episodes are actually very positive. I didn't remember being so kids PSA, but I do actually appreciate it a lot. And I enjoyed watching the kids so young. Like Manny did not change at all. She had the same face. Emma, I could see it because before I swear she didn't even have eyebrows. The way she talked to her mother, oh my, I was shook. I was like, oh, interesting. Watching the clothes, the style was amazing. I really do love that aesthetic. And that scene when they were on the bed, that was my favorite scene of all. And I actually didn't remember it being so dark, but I guess it makes sense because when you're a kid, you don't pick up on the subliminal messaging and all the nuances. And wow, especially when I saw that grainy footage, I almost lost it. I was like, oh, ugh. Yeah, I almost had to take a shower. I think I took a shower after that. But that was such a powerful way to start a show that props to them. And I feel this show is so underrated. Just for that episode alone, it's like amazing. So ahead of its time, I feel like. Now, going back to the love triangles. This is Kelly, Emma, and Manny, which happened on season 8. And I truly did not remember this, but it's no wonder because by the time they get to college, I kind of lose interest on the characters, and this was completely unnecessary. To be fair, this didn't need to happen. They even talked about it. Both of the girls mentioned it, how they have been into the same guy before. I think this is the third time it happens. And they were like, maybe we shouldn't do it. No, we're not going to do it. And yet they still do it. And the only reason it ended was because after everything, he told Emma that he liked her, which is so, I don't know, can we get a storyline where both of the girls are like, you know what, it's not worth it? Like, it doesn't have to be a happy ending. It could be just a neutral ending for once. So this one goes over here because I was really not even that invested. I just didn't care particularly. Now we have Imogen, Becky, and Adam. Wow, this is a tough one. I have a soft spot for all 3 of them, so I guess this is going to be here, and I will explain. Becky and Adam have a lot of history together. I don't remember when this happened. I think this was season 13, probably. But at first, they had a little bit of a rivalry, is that the word, going on? Because Adam is trans and Becky was very against it at the beginning. And eventually she realized he's just a normal person. So they started dating, and Imogen had broken up with Fiona, which, oh, Fiona, so much to say about her. And she lashed on to Adam real quick. Also, this happened during summer for some reason, because this is the weird thing. Before, Degrassi had like very strict seasons, like it makes sense. Each season focused on a school year. But by this point, they had said, screw that, and they had like 2 semesters or 2 separate years in the same season, as in 2 semesters from different years in the same season. And it kind of screwed up with the timeline, to be honest. So this happened during summer. I don't know, it took like 5 episodes each season to start a school year. And the Degrassi kids had a camp that they were throwing. Don't ask me the logistics of that. Becky was going to another place. I don't exactly remember, probably a church camp or something like that. And she realized pretty quickly that Imogen was into Adam, and she told Adam, and Adam was like, okay, maybe I should distance myself from Imogen. But Imogen was like, no, I just like you as a friend. But she continued to be like into Adam in a way. And all the other boys were telling Adam, like, forget about Becky because Becky is with a lot of guys at her camp. So she's probably not thinking about you. She's talking with other guys and other boys. And Adam cheats on Becky with Imogen and then realizes he likes Becky. So he tries to go to Becky and ends up dying in the process again because what is up with Degrassi and killing students? This is JT but on steroids because JT kind of makes sense. They had a rivalry going on. There was like tension already. This just came out of nowhere. Like truly came out of nowhere. It happened and I was in the other episode and was like, wait, what? What just what? I was so confused, so taken aback, and I still don't think I processed it correctly because what was that? But also, that was the reason this thing ended. It says on the wiki that it ended because Adam realized that he liked Becky, but no. It ended because he died. I can't. It really bothers me when TV shows do this. Like, give me a closure. What was this? Why did you? I don't know. I have to check if it was because the actor was, or the actress, I don't even know who played Adam, to be honest. But I don't know if it was because the actor was thinking of another projects, did one, and just wanted to leave. But they could at least try to work it in a more. It just didn't make sense, in my opinion. But I still allow it because I have a soft spot for all three of them. As I said, Adam, Becky. Becky really grew on me. Adam, I don't know, they're just a cutie. And Imogen is crazy, but in the nice way, not as unhinged as Esme. Ooh, now we have Miles, Maja, and Tristan, and these are the last one of the Degrassi cast, I guess you could say, because I think they were meant to graduate in the next class, and that didn't happen, or maybe they did, I don't remember actually. But this one, I guess this could go here, because again, what was questionable. No, here, I did not care enough about this, to be honest. In a way, I did, but I didn't. Hear me out. Maja and Tristan were exes by this point. They had dated, I think, the previous season when they arrived here, or maybe 2 seasons prior. I told you, I don't remember shit about this series now that I think about it. But they had dated and they had broken up, and Tristan was into Miles, so they kind of started dating during the summer. Maya confronted Tristan. Nothing really happened, but Tristan ended up breaking up with Miles. Oh, Maya confronted Tristan, but he kind of like was blowing her off. And he eventually ended up breaking up with Miles because he realized that he still had feelings for Maya. Which, did this need to happen? I don't know. It kind of felt like you're baiting in a way. It only lasted like 4 episodes or something. And actually, I have to rewatch this whole thing again because I remember even less about the last seasons. I do know that Tristan and Miles continue. Actually, this one goes over here because I do know that Tristan and Miles continue with the love thingy up until the last version of the Degrassi series. But it's kind of weird because they were friends at one point, all of them. And I don't know, this whole show is so incestuous now that I think about it. And it's kind of ironic because we do have an incestuous love triangle here, don't we? Yeah, I don't find it, but I know Declan and Fiona are here somewhere. Oh, how funny. We now have Derek, Danny, and Leia from season 8. And Danny, if I'm not mistaken, is Liberty's younger brother, which he's been on the show since I think season 6 or something. And I completely forgot about him and his friend Derek. But actually, I really liked this love triangle a lot because it ended nice and it wasn't that serious. Both of them liked the same girl. Both of them were best friends. Danny tried to help Derek, setting him up with Leia, and Leia was kind of not into Derek and she was sort of obvious about that. But of course, you don't pick up on those things. So he helped Derek by setting him up with Leia. Leia told him, I'm willing to go on a date with him if you're gonna be there. And Danny just kind of thought she was having a good time. And things were going kind of okay. Leia went up to him and she was like, listen, I only agree because I thought you were going to be there and you blew me off. And he was like, but Derek likes you, so. But eventually Derek realizes that Danny likes her and he was like, go for it. And does that. Danny goes up to Leia, he tells her, and they start dating. This is actually one of the least dramatic love triangles, so I like it a lot. This is the funniest thing, but okay. This is the love triangle between Ali, Leo, and Dallas, which I did not remember at all. I don't even remember Dallas, to be honest. I remember Ali, she's iconic, but I don't remember Dallas at all, or even Leo for that matter, but it's no wonder because he was only there for technically a season. But I was just looking at the wiki, and there's actually no information on the wiki about their relationship and the love triangle in general. They have a nickname and it's something like Vandalizasen. Let me actually see. Vandalizasen. What? That's hilarious. And now I'm kind of curious to know all of the other love triangles nicknames because what is this? I guess this is technically all of their last names merged together. Bandalasas. I find this so fun. Why is this cracking me up? Sorry, I had to take a break for like 5 minutes, and if I think about it, I'm gonna start laughing again. So let's just move on. These are these three, and to be honest, I don't remember this at all. So I'm gonna put it over here because also I was just checking on the wiki, like I said, and it says that the reason that it ended up was because he was deported. Which, from what I know, Ali kind of, I don't know. It says that they were even married at some point. She and Dallas, like what? I don't remember. I do remember she married someone, but I didn't remember it was Leo. Also, did you guys remember that thing with Johnny when she ran away from home because of the like, what was it that she ran away from home for? It wasn't the pictures because the pictures happened before. Anyway, wild behavior. Yeah, like what was that? I think she was talking with both of the guys, Dallas and Leo, and Leo kind of got violent and she broke things off with him and eventually he was deported. But I'm still confused about how all of that happened and like, why do they want to put my girl Ali through all of that mess? I really feel like most of her love triangles are gonna be on this road, to be honest. And she had a few. Now we have Tristan, Maya, and Campbell. Wow, Campbell. Yeah, this was another one that hurt. Not the love triangle, to be honest. This one goes honestly questionable. Hear me out. Or I don't know if this one should be on crime. Now, I think this one goes on what the fuck. Because why was Tristan catfishing camp? What was that? And Maya was in on it too. It was not just Tristan. They kept this for at least a few days, if not weeks, until they couldn't basically anymore. And granted, Maya was like kind of urging Tristan to come clean because at first it was like, oh, I'm impersonating Maya. But then he threw that out of the window and was like, yeah, no, I'm just telling him things like that were not even her. Like he told him about a play that he auditioned. Maya didn't even audition. Then he told him he got the part. When like is how do you think you were gonna keep that up? Yeah, that's crazy, crazy, crazy. It's the fact that he catfished him because I don't know, that's like something very serious. You think you're talking to someone and then you find out that it's someone completely different. And the person that you think you were talking to actually knows and was in on it too. Like, imagine the trust issues you could get from that. And thankfully, it didn't, I guess. Campbell was kind of understanding. Eventually, he came back to talk to Maya. Like, he was very mad initially and he was like, I think there's actually a quote from that he was like, oh, we will never be friends or something like that. But then he came back and told Maya that he wanted to hang out with her and they started dating. And then, oh, I just don't want to think about that. Like, that was, I think, oh, after JT, I think this was the hardest thing that ever happened in the show for me, to be honest. I was so, wow, yeah, it was hard. It was hard. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Wait, I think this is the first Eli and Claire love triangle so far. Yes, and this is with Leonore, which is not really that important in the series. She only came to stir trouble. Like she was only brought into the show to create trouble between Claire and Eli while he was in college, because this was after he graduated. Claire was still back at Degrassi. I think she had 1 year left, and she was going through cancer, mind you. And he cheated on her with Leonore, which was, I think, a roommate at the time. And yeah, that's just crazy. I think this one goes in here. Because why are you doing that to Claire? Like, first off, they were so messy, these two, and I lived for Eclair. Oh god, yeah, that was, I think, one of the hardest ships ever that I felt for this show. But what was going on there? Like, what was the reason? Why would you do that to her when she's going through such tough time already? And then you brought him, and yeah, I don't even remember exactly what happened because it was not really that. There was like not really that much discussion about it, or like he just said basically that he cheated on her with Leonore and that they kissed and maybe some clothes came off, but like that was it. And this resulted in one of the famous quotes of nobody could ever hold a candle to Claire Edwards. Yeah, but they were so toxic. And this one goes over here because we did not have to go through that. It was so unnecessary. And I hate them for that, and they hated us. That's why they did it. Oh, now we have one that I forgot from the last video. This actually happened on season 7. This is Sav, Holly J, and Mia's love triangle, which is really weird, but because I don't know if this happened before. No, this actually happened before JT or around that time. So Holly J and Mia were sharing a locker because this was after the other school came to Degrassi. Oh, actually, I think this was after JT's death. Now that I think about it. Yes, this was after JT's death because this was after Lakers came to Degrassi after they merged the two schools together, and Mia and Sab were from the other school. I mean, Sab was from the other school. Mia transferred before. Holly J and Mia both were sharing a locker together because they didn't have that much space at the time. And both were into Sab. Holly J being a Sinclair and the famous Heather Sinclair's sister, or the infamous, I guess. Actually, we never really saw her, now that I think about it, which is one of the funniest things. Anyway, yeah, both of them had a crush on Sab, and both of them were kind of like, they knew, they were open about it, and they had like a little rivalry going on. I think they even fought at one point because of Sab. And eventually, Mia and Saf became friends because she promised to help him. I think she promised to help him know how to get a girlfriend or like how to be nice to girls or something like that. Because he was in love with Anya and he had no experience. He never kissed a girl or anything like that. He never had a girlfriend. So she told him, okay, fine, I'll help you. And I think they even kissed at one point. And Holly Joy saw, and eventually he told them, like, listen, I'm not into neither of you. I'm into Anya. So, which I think is really cute. So I find this to be here, to be honest, because it has Holly J. And as much as I hated Holly J in the beginning, she really grew on me. Like, it's so funny. It's always the mean girls, isn't it? Actually, this is a really bad picture, but this is Jenna, Luke, and Connor's love triangle, which happened 12. And this one goes, I think, questionable. Actually, this one goes here. You know why? Because Jenna eventually chooses Connor instead of Luke. And Luke, I hate him. I don't like him at all. If you have seen the show, you know why. Like, I'm not even, yeah. Ugh, disgusting. And it was pretty evident the way he treated Jenna. Like, she was really not that into him because he made fun of Connor first, and then he kind of harassed her in a way. She was like trying to give him a chance, and then I think he slapped her butt or something like that, and Connor punched him, and she decided to go out with Connor, which that started the whole relationship. And as much as I hate Luke, I really enjoy that he didn't get the girl and that he pretty much was shown to be a POS, evidently. Ooh, now we have Katie. I also like Katie a lot, to be honest. This one goes over here, actually. Why? Because the aftermath of this was really good, and I enjoyed it a lot. This was the reason why the fight in Fiona's loft happened, and that was an amazing scene. That was a masterpiece. This show really did some things great. But I think they started on season maybe 11. I don't know. But Dallas was into Katie. Jake was into Katie. Katie was kind of into both. She was talking with both, but then she ended up going with Jake. And I think she was actually with Drew. And after she broke up with Drew, she started to become friends with Jake, and then they started dating, but they broke off. And then she became friends with Dallas, but nothing really happened because she was still in love with Jake. And when she eventually told Jake, Dallas saw because they kissed on a hockey game, and there was a kiss cam that showed it to everyone. And he was so jealous that he destroyed the garden that they were making. Yeah, so many things, honestly, now that I think about it. If you have not watched the show, that's just, yeah. They were making a garden and he destroyed the garden that they were making. And Katie got so mad that just kind of killed anything that she could ever feel for Dallas. And then when they went to a party at Fiona's, the hockey team decided to crash. And I think he even insulted. Oh yeah, I think he told Katie because Katie was trying to kick them out of the loft so they could continue with the party. And he told her to shut up or shut her mouth. It was very aggressive, and Jake punched him and they started a whole fight that was epic. Like Katie punching one of the hockey players, Claire, as well. Like, oh, so this one goes here because just for that fight scene alone. Now we have this one. And wow, just thinking about it, it's me so sentimental. Like, I'm getting bumps and everything. I don't know. This one was, oh, Jesus, my voice is shaking. This was a very relatable one, but this one goes over here. This was so hard to go through, and just everything. Basically, Maya was into Sig. They were all new at the school, if I'm not mistaken. Maya was into Sig, and Sig was, I think at the time, broken up with Tori, but then she and Tori became friends, so she couldn't exactly go after Sig, and she helped Tori win him back. And then she met Cam, and they developed a friendship, as I said when I explained the Tristan, Miles, and no, not this one. Or was it this one? When I explained this love triangle, that's how they met. Eventually, they started dating, but Sig was into Maya at the time, and a whole mess happened because they kissed, Sig and Maya. They kissed once, and he wanted to break up with Tori to be with Maya, but Maya was like, please don't, because Tori is my best friend, and I cannot do that to her. So she decided to date Cam. But while fighting with Sig about that, Tori heard. So she still got really mad with Maya and Sig, of course. But still, Cam had no idea because Maya was dating Cam at the time. But that point, and she was like, I'm gonna tell him. But Katie, which is actually her sister, weird and cute, convinced her to not tell him because the past is in the past and whatever. But then Sig was still kind of into Maya and Cam knew, and he was a little bit insecure about that. Well, he was very insecure about that. And I think after, if I'm not mistaken, this was in the other season, that they got into a fight, Cam and Sig, for some reason, and they got sent to the principal's office, and Maya turned on Cam and told the principal that it was Cam's fault or that he did it intentionally or whatever, and they grounded him, and that got him into trouble with the hockey team. And Maya was very mad at Cam. She did not want to talk to him, but he went to her house. I think he gave her flowers. He apologized, and he spent the night together watching videos, and which was, oh my god. I think about it, and wow, to spend the night together watching videos, and by the next morning he was gone, but he sent her a video that he had a stuffed animal of hers, but then he ran into Sig, and Sig told him to basically to get out of Maya's life, that it would be better for her. And Cam, which was already struggling mentally, took it. And it led to one of the most heartbreaking scenes, I think, which was Emma crying and telling everyone that she hated him. Or I think, I don't remember who she was telling, but basically telling someone that she hated him because he left. And I think, and I think that's a very relatable feeling for some people. And prior to that scene, I don't think I had ever seen someone portray that perspective before in those situations. Yeah, you can tell that this was a very touching storyline for me, but I hate it so much. Just knowing that those were the last things that happened before he made that choice, yeah, it just made me so sad and made me feel so hopeless and like, oh, because he was so sweet. Cam was so sweet, and it touched me a lot. Yeah. So anyway, moving on because I'm gonna cry. Ooh. Okay. Now we have Claire, Eli, and Imogen. This one goes here. Why? Because this trio, I adore them. I've said before, I lived for Eclair, and Imogen is actually one of my favorites. I have a lot of favorites here, actually. But Imogen, I love her so much. Her weirdness, her quirkiness. She is crazy, but actually, well, yeah, she could be clinically crazy now that I think about it, with the whole obsession with Eli. But I mean, this was insane. Like insane. How did oh yeah. This happened after Eli and Claire broke up when he crashed his car during the play. Which like what kind of storyline was that? I don't remember if this happened. Yeah, I think this happened on another season. He went away for a few months. He was recovering. He got into medication because he was diagnosed, I think, with BPD or bipolar disorder. And he was writing a play about Claire. And I think Claire was dating Fitz at the time, which I also have him here. Actually, where is he? I think it's this one. Is it this one? Maybe I should have all of the Eclair ones because they have a look at them here again. I have to check, but I think this one happened around the same time, and this one, I don't know. This one goes here because I was not really. No, this one goes here actually. But going back to these two or these three, the fact that they met when when Eli after Eli had a mental breakdown because he saw Claire and he broke a computer and she threw herself on the floor, broke her nose, or at least got a nosebleed for him. Like, that is wild behavior. And then she was like, I'm gonna help you get over Claire by pretending to be Claire. And then I'm gonna make her jealous by going to a steakhouse with you. Like, she tried to become friends with Claire in order to like study her and all of that, which, oh my god. I just imagine meeting someone like that. Just imagine meeting someone like that. They say they're gonna study you because they're dating your ex and they want your ex to fall in love with them. And you're like, okay, fine. I swear, TV shows. But as crazy as the was, yeah, goes here. And this one, which happened, oh my god, that is her brother. It's not really her biological brother. We're not, yeah, we're not in the Declan Fiona territory yet. But what was the need for this? We all know Eli and Claire were endgame. We all knew what was gonna happen. Then this dude comes and moves in with her, and she's like, "Oh, you know what? My like, this is what happens when you're desperate. Okay, you should never look under your same room for a partner. Never. Don't do that unless you bring him under your own roof. But you should never ever look for a partner under your own roof. Like I would recommend at least 10 miles. At least, you know what, 50. Sometimes 50, because sometimes you do really need to get out of your area. This was completely unnecessary. I think this happened, granted, before they became step siblings, but still, why do they have to continue with that? I swear one of the writers read one of the Wattpad fan fictions and were like, we're doing that. Which is very similar because when did that? Oh, somewhat similar to this one, the Sav, Holly, and Mia, which gives me very much Wattpad vibes in terms of the secret, or not like the secret, but like the pretending to date trope. This one is the step siblings trope. But this, we've talked about this. No, 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 no. This shouldn't be anywhere near close kids. Actually, this one goes over here because that is such a weird behavior. And again, didn't need to happen because we all know Claire and Eli are endgame. And this dude actually became really weird after that because he couldn't get over Claire. Honestly, what is this? What did she have? Now that I think about it, Claire was. Look at her here again. Oh, KC. Oh, wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Now we have another weird one. This is the Sav, Holly J, and Jenna love triangle, and this one goes here. One, I was really confused. Like, honestly, it was kind of funny in a way when it happened. Uh, Let me explain. So, Sav and Holly J were dating. Jenna and Casey were dating. They got pregnant. If I'm not mistaken, Jenna stole Casey from Claire, then got pregnant by Casey. And then we're having issues because, of course, Casey didn't want to be a father, but Kenna, look at me. I think that's her ship name, actually. Jenna, really. But Jenna was going to have the baby. I don't exactly remember how they got to that decision. But Sav felt sympathy for Jenna and he was helping her, giving her advice with Casey. And just at one point, I think he even went to a parenting class or like a prenatal class with her because Casey couldn't or blow or ditched her. I don't remember if it was intentional or what happened there, but Sav ended up going with Jenna to the parenting class. And after that, Jenna was like, maybe I should be with Sav, even if he's not the father, because he at least cares. And she even asked Holly J about it, what she thought about Sav, and she was asking her advice and whatever. And I don't remember if Holly J told her before or after, but Jenna kissed Sav. And Holly, actually, I think, yeah, I don't remember if how Holly J found out or if Holly J found out, but I just remember Jenna and Holly J were talking about it after she kissed Sav or before she kissed Sav. I don't remember. At one point, Holly J and Jenna talked about the fact that Jenna liked Sav, and Holly J told her, I am with Sav. And Jenna got very mad. They sort of have a mini fight, but not really because Jenna is pregnant. And then that was sort of it. She tried to go with Sav and tell him that she liked him, but he told him he was not interested because he was with Holly J. But eventually he broke up with Holly J because she hooked up with Declan, which still up for debate, actually. I had not noticed when it happened, but it's still up for debate in this instance. like that whole scene with Declan or whatever. So they broke up because of that. And Jenna tried again to go up to Sav, and Sav got really angry. And then Jenna and Casey talked. They got back together, and they decided to help Holly J and Sav get back together. This one goes here because, to be honest, I didn't really care when it happened, but some parts were funny. Like Jenna, Jenna fell in for Sav because he helped her by going to parenting class. And I think there was even a miscommunication when he sent her a rose or something. I don't remember if it was Valentine or one of those events that they do when you send something anonymous to another person. And she thought it was KC, but it was not actually KC. It was actually Sav. And actually, it was such a disservice because, but I didn't particularly care about it. It was pretty evident that Jenna and Sav were not gonna end up together. So it was sort of just steering the plot for drama, but could have been better, I guess. Well, well, well. Now we have another Katie Drew. Actually, Bianca. Now that I think about it, it's kind of wild. I don't know. This one. This one actually goes here. Maybe it should go here because of what happened, but this one goes here. I mean, it's kind of wild the fact that Drew and Bianca were endgame. Yeah, this was the reason Katie and Jake became friends because she was heartbroken after Drew and he helped her egg Bianca's car. I guess I should explain. Okay, so kind of wild because Drew and Bianca's relationship starts from before actually. I think where is here it is. This one, oh, well, okay, give me a second. So, Drew and Bianca's relationship started since Ali's and Drew relationship. Bianca went hard for Drew even though Drew was already dating Ali, and she ended up hooking up with him in the boiler room. I mean, going down on him on the boiler room. And Ali ended up finding out, which I think is the reason why they broke up. But then Drew and Bianca started dating after that, and they got involved with gangs because Bianca was involved with gangs. She got Drew involved with gangs as well. And I think eventually it was so problematic because it was with actually Tiny's brother, now that I think about it. Anyway, too much lore. The point was, Bianca got Drew involved with gangs, and it was a whole mess that I think ended up with Adam being in the hospital after being beaten up by Vince, which was Bianca's ex or something like that. And then she got on probation, and by that point, oh, actually, I think this was after. Drew and Bianca were dating, then they broke up. Then Drew and Katie were together. Bianca got Drew involved with gangs, and I think they broke up after that. He started dating Katie, and on the next school year, he realized that Bianca was still hanging out with one of the guys from the gang, so he wanted to find out exactly what was going on between them. And he asked Katie to put him in the same group so he could talk to Bianca. To get to the bottom of this, he found out that Bianca and Vince were kind of sort of dating, but Bianca told Drew eventually that it was because she was trying to save him because she loved him. So it was a way to protect him. And Drew decided to help her by beating up Vince. And both Adam and Katie were kind of not into it, but decided to go along with it because of Drew. And then Adam ended up in the hospital. Bianca got probation because of the whole ordeal with the gangs and all of that. And Katie and Drew were still together, but she was kind of not aware that Bianca was staying with Drew. And then on the other season, they went to a cabin in the woods sort of thing. It was, I think, a Halloween special, which Bianca was very funny throughout the whole season. I think it was one of the movies, if I'm not mistaken, but it could be just one of the starting episodes that were. Anyway, they went to a cabin in the woods, a group of them. Bianca was throwing dicks at Katie throughout the whole thing because they were scared and they had no power. Then someone was missing and they were trying to search for them. And after all of that, Katie came to the realization because Bianca told her that she couldn't exactly control Drew. I mean, Drew cheated on Ali before with Bianca. So who's to say he's not gonna do the same with to Katie? And that kind of put into Katie's head that this was something out of her control, and she trying to prevent it was not gonna help at all, and would probably push Drew to actually do something. So she told Drew to actually drive Bianca back. And I thought that was going to be the end of it. But then Katie decided to become friends with Bianca because of pills. She got a, I think Katie, if I'm not mistaken, Katie broke her knee or something like that. Something happened with a leg of hers and she needed medication and she decided to befriend Bianca in order to get pills under the table from her friends or whatever. And when Bianca found out, she got really mad. And by that point, I think Katie sort of had a mini addiction, but she was still dating Drew at the time. And Drew and Bianca were kind of becoming really good friends or closer because Bianca was staying at Drew's house. But at that point, when Bianca realized that Katie was hooked on pills and she was just using her, she told Maya and eventually her mom, and Katie got pulled out of school, took into rehab. And I remember that scene because Katie was crying and both Drew and Bianca were talking to her. And before that scene, Drew had come clean to Bianca and told her that he wanted to be with her and that he was going to break up with Katie. And Bianca was like, "You can't do that right now. She's very vulnerable." And Bianca was crying at a bench, telling them that her parents pulled her out of school. She was going to rehab. She didn't know what she was going to do. And Bianca was like, "You have your family, you have this, and you have Drew." And it was such a dramatic scene, I remember. Because then the camera panned to Drew and he was like so serious and so shocked and like, "What did you just say?" And the music in the background. But then afterwards, on the other season, which actually I might be misremembering this wrong. Maybe Drew and Bianca did not date after Ali and they dated after Bianca. I mean after Katie. I don't remember if they dated before or if he was. I don't remember why he was so interested on Bianca and why he was with Benz and why he wanted to help her. So I'm assuming they dated, but I actually don't remember if they did. But I know they did afterwards because Katie went to rehab, I think, at the end of the season. At the beginning of the next season, Katie and Drew were still together. Bianca was still staying at Drew's house, but Drew told Katie that he cheated on her with some other random girl, which I forgot the name. Not even Bianca, some other girl. And Katie of course, she was sad, but she was like, okay. And then she wanted to get back together with Drew, so she got him drunk, went into his room. They hooked up, something that he didn't remember. By the way, he was technically with Bianca by that point. I just think Katie did not know because he did not. Like, he told her it was some random girl. He did not tell her he was with Bianca. And I think this happened at a party because it was recorded, but it was not shown up until a few episodes later when Katie found the video that he said that he hooked up with her and she showed it to the whole school. And Bianca broke up with him because of that. But before that, she hooked up with him. He didn't know. He still told her, like, don't tell Bianca. When he realized that was happened because Katie assumed that they were together, when he realized, he told her, like, listen, we're not together. I'm still with Bianca. Please don't tell her. And Katie was very sad, but she was like, fine. And that's how she met Jake and kind of bonded together. She was crying. She tried to kiss him because Marisol invited Jake to kind of sort of be a rebound for Katie and help her get over Drew. And they became friends. He helped her at Bianca's car, but didn't really go that further because she was still not over Drew. So that's how this started as well. But like I said, eventually she found that video and she played it for the whole school. And Bianca was in the audience, so when she saw that, she put it two and two together, so she broke up with Drew. Okay, and now this one goes over here because, yes, this was epic. I really, not at the time, but hear me out. So actually, this was, I think, the last that we had of Ali, now that I think about it. Because Ali left after this. She left to an all girls boarding school or like an all girls private school. This lasted for, I don't remember if it was like a whole, actually no, that was a lie because this happened around season 10. Yeah, this happened around season 10 and this happened on season 13. So she didn't leave after this, but she kind of did for a while. She and Drew met at a party. Playing Never Have I Ever. I remember that vividly because I have never played that game before, and I never even knew about that game until I saw that. And it reminded me so much of this book that I have read on Wattpad again. I swear the writers were reading Wattpad at the time. I'm telling you. So she and Drew met playing that, and it was an instant connection, flirting, and all of that. They eventually started dating, and Drew immediately cheated on her with Bianca. Just like in the first day of school, or like in the first day of school, he and Bianca met. She in the most suggestive scene, really, because she came up to him and she was like, "Can you zip up my sweater? It's stuck." And Just like, what the hell was that? So obvious, but okay. And he was really into it, you know? And then she sent him pictures and he was like, I'm with Ali. And she was like, I don't care. I'm going to wait for you at the boiler room. And he went to the boiler room and everything was sort of okay. But then Ali sort of picked up on that. I don't remember if she saw videos. I mean, not videos. I don't remember if she saw like text or something that he received or if Bianca said something during because this went down during Las Vegas night. I remember that vividly. Las Vegas night is one of those like things always go down during school dances on Degrassi. And they threw a dance that was Las Vegas themed. Bianca, I'm pretty sure, said something. And Ali was like, oh, yes, Bianca said something because Ali asked Drew what Bianca was talking about, and he sort of told her that something happened, and she was like, "You had sex with Bianca?" And he was like, "No, no, no." And she was like, "Do you kiss?" And he told her yes, or like he sort of led her to assume that it was only a kiss. So she ran with that. And while confronting Bianca, Bianca told her, that's not exactly what happened. A lot more things. Oh, if I'm not mistaken, the quote that she used was, your boyfriend and I were intimate, but all my clothes stayed on, something like that. And Ali was so mad about that that she sort of got. Oh, also, I don't remember. Yeah, this happened after. Okay. So she told that to Ali, and then Ali broke up with Drew, and she was so heartbroken that she was crying. Owen, for some reason, the creep that he is, told her or offered her money to hook up with him or like do something with him. And she was about to accept. She went to the boiler room with him. And then Drew went to the boiler room and caught them and saved Ali. And while they were talking, his mom came and caught him with Ali. And I guess Owen, because the snitch that he is, told her that Drew was gonna pay Ali when it was him, the one who was going to do it, but whatever. And she was so mad. She was treating Ali so badly. So after that, because that's actually not the only thing that happened, the whole Eli Jake thing happened as well. The Fitz, Eli, and Claire situation happened in Vegas night. So after that, they got a dress code and some new guidelines for the school, which is the reason that they had for like 3 seasons different color shirts for every of the grades, which made it somewhat easier to distinguish and actually was really relatable because I remember around the same time my schools were going through a similar change and we had different colored shirts for the different grades. So I found that really relatable. But Ali and Drew broke up or sort of broke up. They were kind of together, kind of not. After the whole ordeal, they were still going to school and Drew asked her. Drew asked Ali for a second chance and she was like, okay, which I sort of guessed that was so she was not like gone for that long. And fight the amazing fight in the classroom. I think those five are good points. This, in fact, might be the best love triangle of them all. The video was getting too long, so part two of the grassy love triangles will be coming up soon. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.